Welcome back. Here at Liftoff, it should come as no surprise that we are champions of women leaders. I mean, you're looking at one. Female leadership is assertive, inclusive, and empowering. And even though women now make up roughly 30% of all leadership roles in the workplace, women still remain highly underrepresented in CEO positions. Barbie Winterbottom is determined to change that. She's the CEO of the Business of Work and recently launched a new initiative called the Executive Woman, an endeavor aimed at giving back to the next generation of female executives while creating community and experiences. Barbie, I am so thrilled to have you as my guest here on Liftoff.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. It's exciting.
Now, you began in human resources. I met you then. We
Yes.
spoke together then. And
I
now we're
know.
speaking together with you as a CEO. Tell me about your transition from HR to CEO.
It was a journey I wasn't planning to take necessarily. As millions of people around the globe were impacted, my role was impacted during COVID. And so I had an option to either seek a new position or launch my own firm. And I chose to launch my own firm. It was something I wanted to do. And so I stepped into that role. And I have taken the 20 years of experience in human resources and people strategy and really applied it into this space of being my own boss, but also wanting to support other women who are stepping into their power and into their voices, because it's not necessarily as easy as we might think it is.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So tell me some of the themes you're hearing as you're creating the Executive Woman and what's really standing out to you?
It's interesting because this initiative happened almost by happenstance. I was interviewing women for a book I'm writing around their experiences in the workplace, because we've had these movements like Me Too, which raised significant awareness about some of the challenges that women face in the workplace. However, it didn't necessarily make the sweeping changes we had hoped for. And so many other social justice issues have happened since then, we don't really hear about it as much. So I was interviewing women to hear about their stories. And the theme that recurred over and over was that we are lonely. We are isolated. We don't have a community. We don't have support that sees us as whole people. The support that's there is focused on your job, the executive X, the chief marketing officer, the chief HR officer. But we're more than that. And as you know, since you've been in that role, the higher up you go, the lonelier it becomes. And so we're conference to death. We don't need another conference. What we need is an intimate, organic community of supportive people who get what it's like to go up through the ranks, but also once you're there, what you face on a day-to-day basis, because the ridiculousness is still happening, even more perhaps than we thought. And we're not all independently wealthy news anchors on major TV stations who can afford to bring suit against an employer like some of the women who were at the forefront of Me Too. And so what's happening is we're being silenced through severance agreements, NDAs, and all of these other tools that are used to keep our voices quiet instead of amplifying the voices we need to hear.
You know, I was just talking to somebody yesterday who was telling me that she does feel lonely as she's gone through her career. And everything that you're doing with the Executive Woman is aimed to address that and to help change that. So what can we expect next from the Executive Woman?
Well, there's a newsletter, which is really fun for me and scary, because I'm sharing a lot of very personal challenges that I have faced throughout my life, even from childhood, because what I'm now recognizing, and probably every therapist on the planet knows this, but we are conditioned to believe certain truths based on our lived experiences. And it takes time to overcome some of that conditioning. So through this newsletter, I'm finding my voice. And what's exciting is the next big thing we'll be launching is the Executive Woman Experience. And I'm most excited about this. The goal is we will create experiences for women, up to 10 people at a time, in beautiful locations around the world, where we facilitate that organic conversation that we all want to have of how have you overcome your challenges? What are you facing? As a Black woman in America, what are you facing that's different than what I'm facing? And so to create these opportunities where we can have authentic, meaningful conversation, we leave the corporate speak behind because we've had enough of that. We want real and we want meaningful connection. So the Executive Woman Experience is the next big thing we're launching.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to those experiences for sure. And Barbie, thank you so much for being a guest on Liftoff.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, stay tuned because after the break, we've got something special lined up for you. Don't go away.